All right, gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World. And we got Johnny NFL. We got Tanishka from Twitter. And we got Josh from Bite Size Sports, which is also where Johnny's from, so that's great. Hey, Tanishka, tell the fan base, Minnesota Viking fans that don't see you on Twitter, where they can tell them to go to Twitter and find you.
Yeah, definitely. Go to Twitter. My @ is my name, but with 3 A's at the end.
Because there's already a person with 2 A's, and then you just had to get a third, right?
Yeah, and the person that just has my name hasn't tweeted in 15 years, but I can't get that @
Dude,
so.
I'm on us. I have Skull World on everything except for Instagram, and the person that has Skull World on there doesn't post at all.
So sad.
I'm like, you son of a.
Right.
But, hey, my worthless opinions in the house. What's up? Worthless. Your opinion is never worthless. It's always on point. And hey, Josh, tell us a little about yourself. You know what? Since you're the first time coming on my show, I want to know how you became a fan.
Oh, okay. Well, I was born and raised in purple and gold. That was one of the things that was instilled in me from a very young age, because my dad is a Vikings fan from way back. And so it was just, you were a Vikings fan and you hated the Packers, and that was how I was.
Or they were going to put you up for adoption. Is that how it went?
Essentially, yeah. And then Favre came to the Vikings in 2009 one time, and we got a jersey of Favre, and it was earth-shattering. It blew my whole world wide open. I was like, oh, this is so weird to me. I grew up hating this guy, and then now I have his jersey. So
yeah, I didn't mind him so much taking us to the NFC title game, but
yeah, I accepted it. So yeah, anyway, we just born and raised. My other sports teams are all Minnesota teams basically. So it's where you're from is your team, and then you always stay to the end if you go to the game. You always root for them even when they're not doing well. That was hammered.
So then the rest of the show, we're going to talk about the Twins, right? Is that what? What we're
exactly. Do? Yeah, exactly.
18.
Best thing we got.
In the last playoff. If you're mad about the Vikings, oh my God! Well, at least they won 2 World Series and almost won a third.
Yeah.
In '65, a little before my time too.
65. We should have got him.
Johnny, tell everybody about Bite Size Sports. I want to know that. I want to know more about it.
Yeah, so over at Bite Size Sports, you can find that on YouTube, Twitter at @bitesize_sports, and we cover almost every sport. We've got some football-specific podcasts. We do football live shows, basketball live shows. We've got NASCAR people. We've got some partnerships with Carnage TV, so we do some of our buddies on there do some MMA content. So yeah, anything you're looking for, we've probably got something like it over on that channel. And then Josh and I do the Bite Size Vikes podcast, the namesake of which is my YouTube channel. Soon that'll be where the podcast feed goes as well. Right now it's just on the Bite Size Sports channel, but
yeah, that's why I was confused, man. I was confused because I was trying to put and I was like, I mean, maybe I should ask Johnny. No, whatever. I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah, we wanted to like launch it on the main channel, and
gotta do it.
And now we'll kind of be transferring it over. I'm thinking the next one I record, we'll upload to both channels. So we're getting there. Mafia.
So guys, if you put #Skull, I'm gonna run that contest. We're giving 5 entries into the Justin Jefferson autographed jersey. And you're also eligible for Thielen. If I get the 2250 subs and a 30,000 for the grand prize. But tonight I'm going to give away 5 entries into the contest. You just got to put #Skull. All right, so let's start with the Albatross. Oh, you know what? Let me give a shout out here. There's a couple dudes. Skull Mafia. Hey, I got some meat for the bone for you, Skull. I'm about to shoot out for you. I'm gonna bring out the big guns on the first question. Vikings fan 123. That win feels like a loss. Tanisha's going to probably opine on that. I'm going to give it to her here in a second, the question. All right. And Davenport wasn't pooped today. That's true. All good questions. Let's start with the big meatiest thing is Tanishka. How about that pick 6? What'd you see on that play?
Oh
Tell
my
us about
God.
it. How would you feel after that? You're like, all right.
Well, okay, first of all, my like YouTube TV thing was definitely delayed of play because I started getting tweets about like what the like just a lot of interesting tweets, and then I was like, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh, there's no way. But I mean, he was literally just late on that. Like if he just hits him, that's a touchdown. But like that was just really bad.
That was what he said in the press conference.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even like I don't know if it was on the same drive, but the DPI that from the Jordan Addison like DPI thing, that like even that was like underthrown 10 yards.
He didn't
like,
get anything on it. Yeah, he was like stepping to his left, and then he went to throw it to his right. But hell, he took a chance, and it worked.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It was an interesting day for him. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other
it was a
interception
stinker.
wasn't all his fault. Ed Ingram is just really not good at football. But like, yeah, it was an interesting day. I mean, he made the touchdown to JJ on the free play, which was nice because a lot of times that's just been checkdowns in the past. So I like that they.
And they tried to get someone offsides that. That was design.
Yeah.
And it's good shout to Schlotman for snapping it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a really up and down day for like the entire offense. Like the running game looked really nice. I mean, I know the Panthers' run defense isn't really good, but like Akers and Madison both look good, so we love that.
Before we go on to the running game and the defense and Johnny, I know you're analytical on that. What are your thoughts on the interception? Pick six.
Yeah,
in the second one. I'll throw in the second one. Tanisha, you can jump in anytime too. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that first one was tough. It was tough to see. Like it was so telegraphed too. I mean, you had the trips bunch over there, and you had that cloud corner in conflict with the.
Oh, you're talking about football. TJ Hawkinson hitting the corner. That's what you're saying, yeah.
There was a little bunch. We had 3 receivers out there. KJ's running the flat. You see Hawkinson do a little hitch. I think they had a switch release there. But you had that cornerback to the far side in conflict. And I think Kirk just thought he was going to commit to TJ on that little curl and threw it late. But it's almost the same thing. Like Tanishka said, like if he was on time on that, that's probably a touchdown to KJ. And if he waited another beat and ripped it to Hawk, that's probably a touchdown too.
Absolutely verbatim what he said in this press conference. He says, if I throw it early, I get a touchdown. If I throw it a tick late to KJ or TJ, I get a touchdown. I throw a pick.
Bad timing. But I mean, that one was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We could beat this to death, Josh, or you could maybe talk about what happened before that.
Well,
what happened before that?
Well, one last note on the
Oh, wait, okay.
Sorry, I'm going to beat it to death.
You can get your licks in. I'll get mine too. I got something to say.
I don't have much to say on that. It's a play we ran so many times. That's why it was so frustrating. Like that little out to KJ right past the pylon. I feel like we've scored on that a number of times. Last year, I think it was the first touchdown in the comeback game against the Colts. Like it's so routine. That's what bothers me about it, that if he's late on that and that turns into a 99-yard pick six, that's the part that really frustrated me about that.
What a play by the corner, though, right?
Yeah.
He got hit by TJ and is able to get off and just jump the route. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I was going to give you first dibs on what happened before that. Anybody want to say something?
What was it? That
what?
We threw a touchdown to Justin Jefferson that called back because Josh Oliver was holding for no reason.
That's right.
He was doing the gritty in the end zone just for to call back.
I thought the flag was illegal touching. I thought Jefferson had just stepped out of the back of the end zone.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was Josh Oliver hugging his guy's neck while Madison was actually coming up to get him. Like, so he didn't even need to block him. He didn't even need to hold on to him. So, I was actually praising how the offensive line kept him pretty clean for a good part of that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, God, Justin Jefferson could have had 3 touchdowns today. But no, pick 6 the other way.
Yep.
So,
for what it's worth, that's the first blip I think we've seen from our Lord and Savior, Josh Oliver.
Oh, he first play of the first game he had a penalty.
Oh,
But, yeah.
I remember that.
Like the first play of the first game in the Bucks game. You know,
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I'm
he
propping up Josh Oliver like nothing, man. I'm like, oh, this is the greatest pick in the world. And the first running play of the game, probably first play of the game, he holds the guy. 10-yard penalty.
I was sitting next to Gary, and he was
2 away from me.
Yeah.
You were probably wearing that hat.
I was. I put this on immediately when these were in the cup holders. If you guys don't know, they're the Bud
I got
hat.
Scolger soup. I got soup in the house.
Soup.
Hey, soup, you want to come on? You told me you want to come on. I'm going to put this. You can come on anytime. I'm going to put this in. You just got to copy and paste it, and you can come on.
Soup, get in here, dude.
I was ready for you. So if you want to come on, yeah, I put it in there. Okay. All right. So I got Scolger soup in the house. Vikings gaming. What's up, man? Let's see here. I'm still wondering why Kirk was trying to fit that TD throw to KJ when he knew he was getting picked off for a pick six. I think we just covered that. He threw it late, or he should have waited for TJ Hawkinson to come off of that. It's almost like it happens so fast. You got to choose which one you want to do. I don't know. Yeah. And you say and one of you guys, I forget, you can jump in. It's a play we run a lot, right? Yeah. Who said that? Was that you, Josh?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of our go-tos down there in the red zone, and I think it's always seemed to be effective. KJ's gotten open on that a ton of times, and so yeah, that's why it was annoying. It's because like we run that play like clockwork, right?
Hey, Soup, no rush, man. If you want to come on, you want to come on. I won't hold it against you, but hey, I was ready for you today because hey, you're not on Twitter. I don't have your number. I don't have any way to get a hold of you. So we'll figure this out.
The enigmatic Soup.
What? It's like that's like that Russell Wilson play in the Super Bowl, right? A play they ran all the time. They were ready for it. I don't know. Maybe you go away from that play. I don't know. But yeah, it was he was late in pick six. But on the I was wrong on my post game that the second pick, it hit his arm. He was actually gonna throw it to the corner. He said in his press conference. I thought he was gonna throw it away because he had pressure, but he was gonna throw it to the corner. So that would have been a 50-50 ball. To Addison, who's how tall is Addison? 5'11". So
six flat, yeah.
Listed at 6 flat or 6'1", I think at the most.
But I think he's shown that he's good at that. So I love the fact that even though terrible pick, move to the left a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. Or get rid of it sooner. I don't know. Something different. Yeah. But
anything but
I like the fact that he would trust Addison with that. Tanisha, I know you're jumping on the bit. Go ahead.
No, I just said anything but that. There were multiple things that could have happened on that play.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and for instance, go ahead.
Well, that pressure there too, like all Ed had to do was just pinch him because Brian O'Neill was holding his ground and the guy just like slithered past Ed and ducked him. All he's got to do is stay tough there and at least push him out a little bit so where Kirk can kind of step up. But he got beat at like such a sharp corner between the tackles. It was really weird. Like that's a weird way to let a 3 technique by you as a guard, like slipping past the tackle like that where there's like no space.
So probably at that point, if I didn't already have the pick 6, I'd have been okay, no problem. It happens.
Yeah.
But since I had the pick 6, I'm like, well, first of all, I'm live, and hey, shout out to this dude. Barber stayed with me the whole time I was live. I'm sorry, John. You know what, John? I'm gonna put myself down here. There you go. I can do this Home Alone thing. Okay, so Barber's with me the whole time, and he was optimistic the whole time. So I'm gonna shout at this dude. He's saying, "Hey, the momentum's gonna swing back, and then something's gonna happen. There's gonna be a turnover, and then boom." DJ want him, but that was all Harrison Smith. But he points out Akers played a good game, need more of him in the game. Kirk Cousins was talking about, like, he's talking to himself, hey, you can do it, Cam. You can do it, Cam. He's telling himself, you can do it, Cam, in the huddle. And you know what? His coaches said that about him in press conferences before, after we traded for him, that he is a positive influence in the offense, and he looks like it.
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Tanisha. Give me your 2 cents on Cam Akers. Is he a real deal for us or what?
I thought he had a great game. Like, obviously, I want to see more against some better run defenses, but I mean, like, so far at least, like, the Vikings run game in general is just dependent on who they're playing. Because I thought it was good the last two. It was good enough the last 2 weeks, like today and versus.
I mean, this one and then the last one.
Yeah. But like the first 2 games, it wasn't good at all. But it's also like depends. Like, I know Tampa and the Eagles both do have good run defenses, so it's very opponent dependent, which makes sense given the like caliber of running backs that they have. But I do think that having Akers versus having Chandler as your number 2 does make a difference, because Akers is just someone that you can rely on more consistently if you need to like split carries with Madison. So, I mean, and you basically got him for free, so it was a pretty good trade.
I think they paid us to take him. That's what I felt. That's what I pictured in my head, that they paid us to bring Akers. And let me shout out, hey, Zone, what's up, man? Hey, you're free to come on too if you want to jump on that connection. I can fit 10, but I only set up to pick 6, but you can jump too. Here's something. Oh, Lester, thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate it. I got Skull Mafia brings up Harry still got it. My bold prediction. I don't know who was on it with me.
I almost texted you. Yeah.
I couldn't read any text. If I go to the text, I shut down the app. Come on, Sean. Sean Salisbury, fix that app. But Harry still got it, man. And my bold prediction is he's gonna have 5 sacks this year, and the most he's ever had in a season is 3. And he gets 3 in one game. Johnny, tell me about, is he stamping his ticket to Canton this season?
Oh yeah. He's there. He's got to be. I mean, it's especially too if the Vikings really make some noise in the playoffs before he retires. I think that's a lot of the reason, to the lay fan around the league, that they might not think he would be, or might not think he is like Hall of Fame caliber. Even if they kind of pull up the cumulative stats, guys who don't watch him play like we have since 2011. But I think he is, man. He's a do-it-all type of safety. The numbers stack up with any of the safeties in Canton already. He's been productive. He's been a team captain. He hasn't missed much time to injury. Just longevity at this point too, playing at that level, I think plays a huge factor into a Hall of Fame case. So I think so, especially if he gets another, good couple of years in here.
It's starting to look a little bit like it wasn't the players last year. It's like, people like Smith's watched, why are we re-signing? Here's
Hicks
Smith,
looks
he's washed
good
up. It's like, and then Hicks looks awesome. Did you just say that? And I just repeated it. I was thinking too loud in my head.
I think Bynum's the biggest player though that the scheme's made a difference for, because he was borderline unplayable last year. And
Cam. Oh, sorry.
Cameron
Bynum. Exactly. Yeah, like he gave up like a perfect quarterback rating, and he totally came out from that. Josh, what do you think? Give me your 2 cents on Harrison Smith. Is he locked for the Hall of Fame? After today.
For sure. After today, I mean, I would have locked him in a while back for sure.
Yeah, but, I had him already, man. I had him 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think the do-it-all nature and he still looks fresh. I like the idea of him for another couple of years after seeing him come off the edge today, getting those sacks, and maybe it was the players, or maybe it wasn't the players last year, like you mentioned. I think Hitman is in for sure, and I think this season will show why on a more national scale if we continue to turn this around and get towards the playoffs. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves yet.
Two Eagles happy. You know what? They only have to win one more game to get your prediction at 2-15, man. 2-15. Let's go. But Julian Marker, Pat Jones was solid. I think I saw him flash a little bit. When I rewatched the game, I didn't look at the defense as much as I did the offense because I wanted to see how bad Ed Ingram was. So I really concentrated on him, and I was concentrating on Davenport. But what do you guys think of Pat Jones? Because he hasn't really shown. Like last week, it was like 62 snaps and 0 pressures. Did he step up this week?
This whole season, he's been pretty terrible. So like, I mean, the game was such a blur to me right now because I haven't gone back and rewatched anything yet. But like I did notice him a couple times when I was actually watching it, which is something I can't say for like the last 3 weeks. So that's good for him.
I don't want to spoil it for you, Tanishka, but we won. And if you go back and watch, I don't want to no suspense. But Julian Marker, Harry was a lock for years. That's another vote. It's a lock. Yeah. It's a lock in the Hall of Fame. Darn it.
Tanishka, I was going to say the same thing about Patrick Jones too. Is like I don't think he had a standout game, but actually noticing him a couple times. He had 3 tackles, and I think one of them was a TFL, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and double check. But just because that was the whole thing for this year. Like we know what Hunter can do. We need other people to chip in there, and so seeing Davenport and even him a little bit today, that was pretty huge. So hopefully we see more of that.
Yeah, and Patrick Jones, I noticed a little bit more in this game too. I kind of did the opposite, Dave. When I went back and rewatched, I kind of watched the defense's second half for the most part. But I saw.
Hey, before you go, I can't put this up and just ignore it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A little bit there. What else I got? Air horns. I got them all off today, and my favorite one.
Cash, homie.
All right, straight cash, homie.
So Two Evils predicting both a loss to the Chiefs and a loss to the Bears.
I will say, when we go to Soldier Field, weird things have happened in the future. I don't think we'll lose to the Bears, but I mean, it's not totally out of question, I will say.
I think it's more likely that we beat the Chiefs and lose to the Bears than it is the other way around.
That's such a Viking thing.
That would be the most Vikings, I want to pull my effing hair out thing. Is that
nobody in this chat is going to rule that out either.
We're 0-2 at home right now, and then we go beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
And then we go lose the Bears. I don't know. I'm joining Tanishka on Twitter. Triple P in the house, the purple MLK because he's bringing all the fans together. Long time since I said that, P. Bobby Boucher. Is it Bobby Boucher or Boucher? Okay, I think Davenport changes the whole dynamic of the D. I think people are really dogging on Davenport. Let's just address that really quick. And Two Evil to Hope, I'll answer your question. I'll have everybody answer your question. Davenport, man, changes the whole D. I don't know going there, but Kevin O'Connell thinks so. He's talking about how he's big time in the run game. And you know what? They said that before the game. So, Josh, what did you think of Davenport? Did you think he made a big difference?
I thought he did. I thought he's got to do a lot more than just one game against the Panthers, of course. But like you said, people were dogging him. They were showing the stats of him not showing up, and a lot of people were playing that interview. Yeah, and yeah, those ones. And people were reading into his pressers about his injury and saying, starting to question whether or not he wanted to get out there.
The way he was acting, right? I was pissed too, man. I was pissed too, honestly.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to not kind of let that creep in a little bit. But seeing him out there, I feel like he definitely had an impact.
Let's answer Two Evil to Hope's question. I was like 0-4. We got to be thinking. I'm like, play all the rookies. Let's find out what they got. 1-5. I'm the same way. 2-5. I got hope. I got hope at 2-5 because of the schedule the rest of the year. 2-4, then you go 2-5. Well, then you can beat the Packers. You're 3-5, and the rest of the schedule is pretty. Denver's not great. You got the Raiders. You got the Bears again. Lions are the two tough games in Cincinnati. Didn't they just lose again, or did they come back?
You got dog walked.
Right
yep.
Dog walked. All right. So the Lions twice and Cincinnati are the 3 hard games the rest of the year. What we thought were the 3 hard games the rest of the year. And then, it's always going to be a fight against the Packers and all. But, yeah, for me, it was 2-5, go to the Packers and win, and the season salvage. Yes, I know, 10-7 seasons. Everybody wants a bigger draft pick, but I'm talking about the path of the playoffs. We do that on my channel. But answer to Evil of Hope. What would you do at 1-5, Johnny?
1-5. My pitchfork is probably off the shelf. But like, it's the Bears loss though for me. Like, I don't think I feel any differently about this team.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Chiefs loss or a San Fran loss. Like, if we're 2-5 going into that Packers game, that's exactly right. As long as we take care of business in the division, and that's one of the things they stressed on the broadcast too. Like, yeah, the Vikes are 0-3, but they haven't played a division game yet, and I don't think the Lions are going to run away from us. I think if we hover around 500 going into that Week 16 game, the first time we play them, I think we'll be in position to actually snatch the division back if we win out going Lions, Packers, Lions. And those are the games that really swing things as far as getting into the playoffs. But if we lose to the Bears and we're 1-5 going into San Fran, I'm probably livid.
Yeah.
You know, like,
burn it down, Tanishka.
Burn it down, I think, yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, we have, 4 games till the trade deadline. 2 of them are division games, and 2 of them are the 2 best teams in each conference. So, like, I mean, it's like, and both of the division games are road games. Like, I know it's the Bears. They're really, really not good. But, like, also, road division games are just hard no matter, like, how bad a team is. And it's the Packers, yeah, but like, I mean, going to Lambeau wasn't so hot for this team last year because they didn't know what cleats to wear.
And before that though, Kirk Cousins had a winning record at Lambeau, right?
Probably, I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he was 3-1, and he ended up being 3-2 after that last.
Probably in that one tie.
Freaking mistakes from last year in your cleats, guys. That was embarrassing. We looked like we were on skates last year at Lambeau.
See how that's an excuse considering all those players had been to Lambeau before. But,
I mean, that don't make sense. They literally gave the players their option of what they wanted to wear, it seemed.
And
like they advised them.
I saw Justin changing cleats like on the sideline, and I was
right.
Like, you've been here before like 2 times, but okay. But like, it depends on those division games, I think, because like, I don't see us beating either San Fran or KC. Like, I just think those 2 teams are just too good. But like, anything could happen. I think if you're anything over 2-6 at the trade deadline, then there's a chance that they make a run and like maybe get like a 6 seed or something like that. I do think the Lions are just a lot better than us, but and they're getting JMO back this week, so that should really help that offense.
Like, they were opposite last year. They started bad and then were hot at the end of the year, and now they're
they lost a lot of really close shootouts at the beginning of the season too. So that was,
and they really should have lost to KC, but
oh yeah, no, well, like last year, like the Eagles game was a shootout that they lost. They lost the shootout to us week 3, so it was just a lot of close losses.
He had the butt fumble that game.
Yeah.
But hey, you got a big fan of Triple P. He loves the fact that you want to lose every game from the rest of the season. So he's a big fan of that. We got Dylan Dotson. I think it's interesting that fans get mad at the dude for still being happy and smiling even though he's not playing. I agree. It's a personality thing. I think we're talking about Davenport. Yeah. So yeah, I hold it within. I don't put it out on the air, but I was a little frustrated with the way he acted with when they asked him about the injury. But yeah, I get it too.
I think like with Davenport specifically too, it's just like, because we know that he's had injury issues like going back to his whole Saints career, so the frustration was just like greater for most fans because they knew that this has kind of followed him around basically his whole career. Because like, even when he was on the Saints, like when he played, he was phenomenal, but like, when did he play? Like, that was just like his biggest problem. Like, I know some people that are Saints fans that like talk to me about Davenport after we signed him, and they're like, when he plays, he's gonna look like a borderline Hall of Famer and you're gonna love him, but when he doesn't play, like, he just doesn't play. So it's like,
bigger dude than I thought. Bigger dude. He looks like a big dude out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And when I saw him in preseason, he looked athletic. I remember him covering I think it was Madison on a swing route or something like that, and it seemed like he could handle himself. Hey, quick shout out, giving away 5 entries into the to the Justin Jefferson autographed jersey, and I got Thielen if we get to like 60 more subs. Funko Pop. All you have to do is put hashtag skull. I'm giving away 5 entries. Right now I have 1 entry. One person has put hashtag skull. Give me hashtag skull. One guy asked, is anybody going to the game on Sunday? I don't. Tanishka is not there. Josh, where do you live?
I live in South St. Paul, so I'm close by. I will not be at the game, unfortunately.
What a jerk. He's not supporting his team. You know what I saw? I saw Skullbro complaining about people doing the skull chant in bars. He's called it lame, and he got a lot of grief for it, but he like stood his ground. And he says, "Those are the people aren't going to the games." Well, geez, I can't go to the game. We're doing skull chants in our bar because we can't. I'm not gonna fly there from Florida every week.
Exactly.
But yeah, but someone was doing it on the plane. It's embarrassing when it's bad. But I was at the Vikings World Order in the Bucks, and we tried to do the skull chant there, and I was like shaking my head how bad it was. I kind of agree. It needs to kind of like stay in the stadium, but yeah, it's still it's our thing. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace the suck. But I got 3 entries. Hashtag skull.
There we go.
Now Alexander Madison playing like he's possessed now, right? Like someone's knocking at his door of taking his job. Do you think that has a lot to do with it, Josh?
I definitely think it's part of it. I think anytime.
Also, he's a very good guy, and he's worked hard. He's not a quitter. So
yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely a part of it when you watch the team, even if they don't say anything in particular. If they bring in a guy that's been a starter elsewhere, there's got to be a little bit of that nudge behind you. But I think Madison also he hit the holes a lot better. He's a lot more patient. He got better holes than he has gotten all season. And there's a lot of actual push from the offensive line before contact. So I think we mentioned it earlier too. The second game in a row we've ran for over 100 yards, and that's kind of what I've been asking for since the offseason is some more balance in our offense. And I think Madison's doing his part for sure right now. So
Tanisha brought up the point that was like we're not facing tough defensive lines right now. Johnny, do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Way to interject there, Johnny. Let's go on. No, okay, go ahead, man.
It was like it's Vita Vea, week 1 in the middle. Week 2, you've got like 4 D tackles who would start on our team. I mean, it's Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis. That's just from a personnel standpoint. Yeah, it was much better defensive linemen that we're going up against. I mean, Derek Brown's fine. Gross Matos is fine against the run, I suppose, but they just didn't have those type of game wreckers like we saw against Philly and Tampa.
We'll
That's why I got Johnny on because he knows everybody in the NFL. Go ahead, Tanishka.
Said we'll see what happens next week with Chris Jones back because KC has a nice D line. So I feel like that's more of a litmus test to see where this run game really is because we know what they can do against bad teams, but KC and then obviously San Fran, but that might just be the best front in football. So that's also unfair to judge off of.
Yeah, and that man Steve Spagnuolo is probably the best defensive coordinator in football. Just what he's able to do with the young talent. Spags, man.
Football.
Yeah, right. He's good.
Can we get Ingram off the field? So I'm gonna lead with this one. I've been harping on it since the preseason. And I was a guy that's like, he's growing, he's getting better. It's nice, whatever. He can run block. However, there were like 2 plays where he missed his dude. One play in particular where it was like 2nd and 1. I forget what it was. 2nd and 1.
When he didn't pick up Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, we did that. Of course, we got to go shotgun when it's 2nd and 1 and hand it off. But it was a well-designed run play. Ingram just flew. Well, he got a hand on him, but yeah, and then he interfered with TJ Hawkinson getting to his block. It was all on him. I had one guy say, I think Cam Akers makes that because he's quicker.
Yeah.
But I can't rely on Ed Ingram. I think the amount of run blocking over Rice, I don't think he's that better of a run blocker than Reisner to keep him in there anymore. So when this makes me lose faith in KOC is in in the press conference, he's talking about, oh, they had great practice this week, Cleveland and Ingram, and we're all thinking, you're not talking about Cleveland. It's Ingram that we want replaced, and it's like, make the choice, pull the plug, take the Band-Aid off, put him out there, make him win his job back. If Reisner sucks, he sucks. But it also might be that, hey, maybe Reisner is not as good as we thought. Maybe we're not seeing that. What are you guys' take on that?
I will say, though, of course they're having good practices when we have
that gets the practice squad
passer on the D line, like the interior D line for us. Like no one gets pressure there anyways. So like they're probably having good practices, but that really doesn't tell you a whole lot.
Talking about practice.
Exactly.
Not a game.
And I think the thing with KOC too, like in one of his press conferences, like during the week, he was talking about how we might have to start putting in players who don't turn the ball over, like when he was talking about the turnovers. And like, I mean, obviously Ingram didn't turn the ball over, but he was kind of responsible for Kirk's second pick. And he's been responsible for like a lot of turnovers, like indirectly, like this season. So like at that point, like I just don't know what Ingram has to do to get benched, because he really like
he had a punch like Ziggy Wolf in the face to get benched.
Ingram fumbles the ball with like every part of his body but his hands.
Yeah.
I got a head honcho. He agrees with you, Tanisha, about him being responsible for the second pick. At that point, after the first pick, I was like, I'm ready to blame Kirk for that one. I was. In fact, you guys didn't realize the last 3 games, I wore a Kirk Cousins jersey, and I wore a KOC hat, and I'm like taking that shit off. I'm like, I gotta wear something different. Gotta mix it up. Hashtag Skull to get in the 5 entries. What do we got here? I was just saying that. What does he got to punch Ziggy Wolf in the nuts?
He's got to throw a football.
Family friendly show here to actually get benched. I don't know. I say, my viewpoint is our offensive line issues, and honestly, weren't as bad today. I'm gonna say that. So, 50% of our problem would just be replacing one player, and that's the way I feel about Josh. I'm being lenient there. I want to say 80% of our problems, but you tell me, Josh, would it be this is coming from a guy that was an Ed Ingram apologist last year, but when I saw him that first preseason game and he looked trash, played like trash, didn't look like, and I saw Blake Brandel playing better than him, I was like, Brandel now. What do you think, Josh? Is 80, 50, 90% of our problem? I don't know. Line is it Ingram?
80 or 90 feels a little bit high, but actually it's probably not, because I had the same issues in the preseason. The interior pressure, everyone just caught it right off the bat.
I knew I like this guy over here. I'm playing that up here. Yeah.
We all knew that was going to be a big issue. I mean, Kirk I think he got hit 13 times last week. What
was it this week? It wasn't as much, right?
I haven't seen that. I don't have the stat in front of me.
We only threw 19 passes.
Yeah, but we were only on the field this week for like 20 minutes or so. Yeah, we lost the TOP battle real bad. But in the offseason, I was looking at, what are our options? And Reisner, however you say it, he was on one of the top lists of offensive linemen available in free agency. And so I'm glad we have him now. I don't know what took us so long. I tried to go watch some Broncos tape from last year to see what Reisner looked like, and I don't recommend anybody go watch any Broncos tape from last year. It's not exactly exciting football.
I watched all Reisner's highlights, and this is an example of Ed Ingram. He has like a highlight tape that's like freaking 10 minutes long of pass blocking and run blocking, but mainly pass blocking. And there was a play, Ed Ingram, I think it was 3rd down, and they were game planning for Ed Ingram. They move their tackle in the end and go out. They block out with them. Ed Ingram is just locked onto him, both hands ready to go, and they blitz right where he's not. Reisner, when he's blocking, he puts one hand on a guy, and then he keeps his head on a swivel, and he's a guy that would go dive for that dude coming in. Ed Ingram, my job is here. And I think that's the difference. What do you think, Johnny? Am I smart?
I think you might be smart because
It's called independent hands.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened on the when Jeremy Chin was that free rusher and sacked Kurt.
That's what I'm talking about. And when they damn near decapitated Kirk, a little higher, man, and we got 15 yards on that.
Yeah, and you're always, as an offensive lineman, you're always assessing threats from the inside out, because the further in they are, that's the quicker path they have to the quarterback. So you're exactly right, especially when he's engaged with Brian O'Neill. He goes to essentially double team the D end with O'Neill without keeping his head on a swivel at all. Puts both hands on this guy who's already locked up with one of the best right tackles in football, and doesn't notice the safety, who again wasn't blitzing from depth. He was playing like dime linebacker, essentially 5 yards off the ball, sort of creeping. And either nobody identified him pre-snap, or post-snap Ed Ingram just saw him take that half-second hesitation and was like, that guy's not coming. All right, sounds good. And just looked for work, but he didn't even need to. He could have gotten to his pass set and just kind of assessed things. He didn't have anybody coming straight at him. Again, the guy who engaged with O'Neill, it was, yeah, exactly. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you have to have your head on a swivel at least a little bit, especially when you can feel that amount of space between you and Bradbury. I don't know. It just seems like an awareness thing.
Well, Schlottman. Bradbury was wearing
Schlottman.
I don't know what he was wearing, but he was in t-shirt today.
Well, and
my contest, I forgot the hashtag skull. You have to be subscribed to my channel, Purple and Gold for Days, and GG Sports Podcast. So Purple and Gold for Days, GG Sports Podcast. Josh, are you subscribed to both these dudes?
I think so.
Get on it. Tanisha, what about you?
You've
been on both these shows. So you better be. You better be. All right, but hashtag skull and be subscribed to all three channels. All right. So yeah, we all agree Ingram should be gone. Could we? Who's more hated? Let's do a poll. Well, honestly, I think Ingram wins hands down. Kirk Cousins or Ingram, but I think Ingram wins hands down. But
yeah.
But there's players playing good. Any bright spots in that game that you saw, Johnny, that of like guys that just really stood out? Let's say other than Harrison Smith.
Yeah. Well, I liked the game from Josh Metellus. I thought
early on too, he was like all over the place.
Yep. I like the way he's utilized a lot. Missed a few snaps again. Just kind of gets nicked up. Seems like most games. He did get a little nicked up, yeah. Where you see a little bit of Theo Jackson, and that's fine. But I really like the way he's utilized. I think he's kind of settling into that role. Seems more comfortable out there. There was the big blunder where he let Mike Evans get behind him week 1, and we haven't really seen stuff like that since. It's a bad matchup, really, though. Matchup. Yeah, I was like, it. Obviously, he got burnt pretty bad, but I was accepting that because that was like, we're gonna be like one-on-one. We're gonna get mess matches every once in a while with his defense, and I was like accepting that. But yeah, he got burnt that week, and I think I think something happened to him in another game too that I can't think of right now. But yeah, Josh, is there any guy that stood out for you that dark horse candidate?
Well, every game I watch, I feel like Cam Bynum is like a whole new player, and I know Johnny and I have talked about that a couple times. He just seems like he's a half step ahead of everybody. He's really sharp. He's a sure tackler. He's doing everything right, or seems to be doing everything right from what I can see. So, he keeps popping up for me as one that's showing out every week. And then obviously Ivan Pace, but he wasn't as prominent this game, but just in terms of the whole season so far, I guess I would say him as well.
And I'm gonna point something out. Before the strip sack by Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum punched out that ball on that receiver, and it could have been a fumble. They called it a catch and a recovery.
Yeah, that was really
close. He punched that ball out, and if they called that in, the announcers thought it wasn't a catch. Well, the guy they had in the booth, the ref, that they bring in to whether or not it should be the rules guy, I don't know, whatever. They said it shouldn't have been a catch, but regardless, we punched at it, and I loved it, and so that was great
for sure.
Go ahead, Tanisha. Give me some Give me like, hey, who you thought? It could be one of the other same guys too. I don't care. I won't put you on the spot.
I mean, like offensively, pretty much no one because the whole offense was literally just Kirk to Jefferson and a pretty good running game.
Half the targets to Jefferson,
Yeah.
9 out
Yeah.
of 19.
I mean, I feel like defensively though, I like DJ Wanham had his like annual once a year like really good game because one of my replies
It's
today,
usually the play comes to him and he just happens to be standing there.
yeah,
But yeah, he was
one of my
better.
replies today was like, we should nickname him Janitor because he's so good at cleanups.
Right.
But I mean, he's still like you still have to finish, and he did do that. So he had a good game. I know like he usually does do good against like young QBs who are kind of just like don't know what they're doing. Like he's had really good games against Fields in the past. But he had a good game.
You bring up Fields, and I was thinking in my head that I know I was watching a YouTube and someone was praising Bryce Young, and I'm like, he reminded me of Fields in that game, probably a little better though. For me, if I say Andy Dalton wins that game.
If Andy Dalton's playing, let me just tell you, they go up 20-7 where Bryce Young had that fumble 6. Like 100% they go up 20-7 there because Andy Dalton has always played well against this team anyway. Like
I had no doubt that we're fortunate to play him. He holds on the ball. Like I said pre-show, he holds on the ball more than Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson's last. Going into this is probably his best game, I guess, because he's had over 6 years. He had 6 yards per attempt, 6.2, and he's been averaging 4.5, which was ranked 32nd, and then his quarterback rating was 34th, and there were only 32 teams, but his rating today was in the 90s. So they like the fact that he threw 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, got down to the red zone, didn't score, held onto the ball. I'd say 4 of the sacks were him. He did, however, evade and get a couple first downs. That gives him some points. He had a couple good throws, and he tried to kill Adam Thielen, throwing it. At least he threw it high and behind him instead of high and in front of him. Otherwise, Harrison Smith would have killed him.
Yeah.
Hospital ball.
Yeah. I thought Thielen was going down. I thought he was down. Oh, and let me shout out to Addison for not blocking anybody and almost getting Justin Jefferson killed.
That was so bad.
That was scary.
Oh my gosh. Gosh.
Yeah.
But you know what? Funny thing is, I was praising him for his blocking the week before.
Brian Branch would have picked up that block.
Brian Branch, defensive player.
I really wanted Brian Branch.
Yeah, me and Johnny, if nobody knows, we wanted Brian Branch on our team. What's up, Yogi? Yogi, you were supposed to be on the show. I asked you to. You need to check your direct messages from me, man.
Yogi,
you want to jump on, Yogi? I'll literally we got 10 minutes, or maybe longer. If you have time, I don't think you're on Justin's show, but if you want to come on and give some points, there it is. Just hop on if you want. I wanted you on anyways, so come on if you can. But
Yogi's not about that action.
I love Yogi on this show, man. I want to get him in here. I know what he's going to say.
Trying to coax him into it.
Yeah, I know what he's going to say. We look good on we look good on paper. We look good on paper. That's the new one. And he's right. We do look good on paper. But you know what? Our defense hadn't looked good on paper, and we finally look good in real life on defense. So look at this guy. He's coming on. I'm still waiting. Yogi, I can't see you. I see you trying to come on.
Look at this guy.
There it is. All right. Here we go. Let me see if I get. There it is. That's what 5 people looks like on a. So Yogi, we look good on paper, at least on offense. We don't look good paper on defense, but who showed out today?
Davenport gets his name back.
Does he get to keep the 0?
Nope.
Which I think is an ugly number for anybody to have. I hate seeing the 0 on the field, but whatever. But go ahead, Yogi.
For at least a week, I won't call him Davenpoop. But
someone called him poop earlier in the chat.
I still, man, KOC's offense is predictable and uneventful.
Dude,
Yes.
There's two things I want your Yogi. We pick six, right? The pick six happened, and then we ran the ball twice in a row after that. Got 3rd and 5. I looked at the play. The only guy open was the running back. He checked it down, tackled, 3 and out. Then later and there's another play, but we ended up going down and scoring. We were first and 10. We get a penalty. We're 1st and 15. Well, we didn't go score because that was the pick. That was at the end of the half, and that was the pick that on Kirk Cousins' arm. We run a play, tight end screen, and it works. And it's called back because of a illegal man downfield. So it's 1st and 15. And then we run the ball with a 1 minute and 46 seconds to go in the half. What do you think of that play? You like that? You like that play call?
Overall, I don't like his play calling. I was preaching, if we lost this game, I was saying we should trade him to the Chargers. Trade KOC to the Chargers.
Okay. Something about that though is it's tough to realize when we don't watch every game, when we're just dialed in on the Vikings.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
He's one of the best play callers in the league. There are a lot of way worse offensive structures. I think there's a bunch of meat on the bone for sure, and it pisses me off when he's not dialing it up for Jefferson early, or I get catching him off guard with a run with $1:46 to go in the half, but we don't. Why though? Let's just not do that. This is one of the best passing offenses in the league. Let's just do that. But this is one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL by just about every metric. It just doesn't. There's so much talent that it doesn't seem like it's maximized still. So I get what you mean, but
later in that drive, we ran the same tight end screen and it worked again.
It worked again.
Holy shit! Is what I said. Holy shit! This was me because I have a viewer on the poll at the bar, and I'm like, holy shit, we ran it again and it worked. So.
Please tell me you guys talked about Ingram and how horrific he was.
No, barely spoke of the guy. Barely.
Okay.
I didn't notice him today.
No, but you go ahead, man. No, yeah, we beat him to death a little bit here. He's a little bruised right now, but
all right, good.
Go ahead, man.
Oh no! If you guys did it, I just wanted to make sure you guys did it.
Nobody agrees, I think, with what we were talking about.
Yeah, I didn't even have to hear it to agree.
Yeah. There's one other thing that happened. We get the ball punted and we have a penalty, and I think we get it at the 4-yard line. Madison, nice run. We get it to the 20, right? We have 3rd down, and it should have been a legal contact or holding on T.J. Hawkinson because he makes his break. The guy's bear hugging him. He breaks open. He's got room on him. Kirk Cousins threw a bullet to him and hit him right in the gut, and he didn't put. I went purposely back to go look at that play. And it just hits him in the gut with his arms like this. He didn't even try to bring it in. I was kind of frustrated a little bit on that play.
Sometimes TJ seems like he got his
a little lackadaisical, maybe.
It seems like he got his growth spurt really late.
Oh, he's awkward. Okay,
just his coordination is a little bit he doesn't know how to be as big as he is sometimes.
I felt the same way about Gronk.
Yeah.
Gronk was a little like that with But obviously he definitely filled out.
Right.
But, hey, what do you think of TJ? 66 million, good to go, Josh, or what do you think?
I actually had this conversation with a friend the other day. He was texting me during the Chargers game and was like, I don't know if that makes sense to invest in him right now. I like it. I don't know. I think Hawk's one of the best. I think sometimes Kirk falls back to him too easily as a safety blanket, and sometimes he looks a little bit too much toward him. But I also like that for the most part. I feel like he's pretty reliable. So and maybe you could argue that maybe a tight end isn't worth that much if he's just reliable. I think he's more than that, but I don't know. I think
he's still top 5. It just things have happened in awkward moments. That was a 3rd down reception. I'm like, it hits you right in the. I thought maybe it got tipped or something.
Yeah.
I went back and looked. No, it really hit him square in the stomach.
And the when he got stripped at the beginning of the Chargers game, that was such a demoralizing thing. I know it was early in the game, but they were running the ball like I wanted to. It was Madison 5 plays, and it wasn't like 2-yard runs. It was Madison like a 13-yard run, a 15-yard or something. We were moving the ball, and for him to get it stripped there, it just was really deflating. And so that I was still kind of holdover angry with him for that too.
I think everybody felt like that. Even though it happened the first drive of the game, I think everybody felt the same, like that was the play. Much like people thought the game before that the Justin Jefferson fumble in the end zone was the play. It's like, even though that was like the first drive, and then today we would have been saying, yeah, it was definitely the pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yogi, I'll go back to you on that. We talked about it we talked about it the death at the beginning of the show, but man, he threw late or he didn't wait long enough, and he should have went with TJ Hawkinson. But either way, wrong read. And he obviously admitted in the press conference. But is that just Kirk being Kirk?
Yes. I tell you what though, if the defense and Harrison Smith and Wanham, if they didn't get that touchdown, the game I think would have turned out a lot different. It was 14-13.
Yeah.
And Panthers would have just had to come back and get a field goal. The defense saved us this game, and
Yeah.
Because
what made me feel good about it is Kirk has his worst game of the year, and the defense pulls it out.
Yes.
My only issue with that, it's not an issue for today, but if you're talking in terms of future, there's gonna be very few games going ahead that the defense is gonna be able to pull out like that, just because they don't have the talent to really be in a ton of games with some of these high-powered offenses that we're gonna play in the future. Carolina just really does not have talent that team, and the talent that they do. It's just not a very good football team. I'm happy with the defense today, but I think the expectation, no matter what Flores does, because the players are just not very good, no matter what Flores does, I think the expectation should be that they allow high 20s to low 30s and points. And we're just gonna have to live with that.
But Tanishka, Thielen went to Carolina to win a Super Bowl, and they got the number 1 pick in the draft. So they got to be good, right?
I can't believe Carolina's going to end up giving Chicago a top 3 pick. That's just so gross to me.
Well, no, they're back in the wide receiver 1 market after they traded him for the first pick. They're gonna find somebody, and they're gonna turn this back around. I saw that rumor today. It's like, well, you could have maybe just hung on a DJ Moore and tried to figure something else out.
They could pick Marvin Harrison.
That's true. They don't have their pick.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bears could get Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
So I listened to the halftime or the post-game speech, another riveting one by KOC. The dude gives post-game speeches like Newt Rockney gives halftime speeches, at least in the movies. I don't know. I guess in the movies they sound good. But yeah, I mean, KO, I think he says what I said, and that's hey, we didn't have it tonight, but we won. We didn't have, that kind of thing. But it is those tough times. I know people were disappointed about the way we won, but gosh, it does feel good to get one. Yogi, what's your chances against KC? Pretty good. Pretty good.
No. No. Now, if we could go in like we initially went in with the Eagles and played right,
play like we did against the Eagles, I feel like, except with
without the turnovers, then maybe. But we are so lucky we aren't playing the Chiefs this week and the Panthers next week, because then we would be 0-4 going into the Panthers.
Yeah.
They already gave us a hard enough schedule. They didn't need to,
Yeah. I tell you what,
at the beginning of the year, the end of the year, it's weak ass, but this beginning of the year is pretty tough.
Yeah. As much as we were dominated by that Philly O-line, and we did really well to contain their passing game, I think you could see a similar blueprint. Flores will do a lot of what Lou Anarumo did the 3 times the Bengals beat the Chiefs. maybe a more talented group, but they would do a lot of drop 8 stuff like we did against Philly. I think we could. I think we could play the pass game a little bit. Lou Anarumo, the Bengals defensive coordinator.
All right. That's why I got you on the show, man.
Yeah,
because you know everybody.
For whatever reason, yeah. But like the KC tackle duo, especially we've got Davenport healthy. It's kind of barbecue chicken, to be honest with you. Juwan Taylor's fine, but Donovan Smith's old and slow. Because to be frank, Taylor Moton kind of put Daniil Hunter in prison for most of today. A lot of the pressures we got were from Davenport over the guard.
He had a holding penalty, though.
Off the edge.
That helped us. Daniil Hunter.
That's true.
That was good. And there were times he got close, but yeah.
But I like that. I actually kind of like that matchup. If Davenport suits up and he's close to as effective as he was today, I like Daniil against either of those tackles. But Mahomes is that guy who's so dynamic back there. He'll step up, and the pressure doesn't matter as much. So, but again, it's not a super talented group of pass catchers either. You worry about Kelsey, of course, but like
it's not a good group.
Not particularly worried about the secondary holding up either. I think that could be it's going to be a Vikings. They're going to play them close. It doesn't matter the quality.
It'll be a 1-score win or loss.
It doesn't matter the quality of the opponent. They'll play up and down to them.
Yeah.
They will be in it. Yeah.
And the crowd
There's no
noise
way
is
it's
gonna,
not a 1-score game.
The crowd noise is going to be loud now because we're going to have all the Taylor Swift fans coming.
Hey, Bryce Young couldn't hear shit today. Bryce Young had to call, I think, 2 or 3 pre-snap timeouts just because he was running out of time getting the call in. So I don't know. That's a weird variable too. But
I don't think Kobe's saying this to you guys because I know you guys were in full 100% support, except Anishka, of us winning. But yeah.
I was just gonna say though to that, like, here's the thing: he didn't play well today, and we won. That's fine. He played well weeks 1 through 3, and we lost. Like both of those are true. So I just don't know why you can't talk about that.
You can.
Yeah,
you can.
Exactly.
You can. It's we play honestly. 2022 or 2021 was like that. Yeah, and Pro Bowler. He a lot of 6 potential comebacks. He only got 4. Missed field goal, fumble. There's a lot of good play there, but then we don't go to the playoffs. So yeah, you can honestly say that. Although that was the 2 worst years of defense I've seen in my lifetime. I got recency bias, but I would think I'm pretty close to those being the 2 worst defensive years. I think I was down on Brian Flores. I even said bill of goods, like we got sold a bill of goods. But today, the way he did adjustments, he did make adjustments, I think, and then keep those guys out of the end zone. Bryce Young did not have a touchdown today. Nobody on their team had a touchdown today except for the defense. So shout out to Brian Flores of keeping them out of the end zone on defense. So,
hey, can we talk about that final sequence from Flores too?
Oh yeah,
4 downs.
Johnny, go ahead, man. You were biting at the bit to talk about that.
That was electric, especially just juxtaposed to what we saw from Donatel last year. I mean, on
it's
first
a $5 word, juxtapose. Sold.
Sorry. But first down, they see the 7-0 pressure look out of the little penny front with 3 down or 5 down linemen. You just got Jordan Hicks at linebacker. That was the Dean Lowry knockdown when they sent 6. Second down, they're in just like a 4-2 nickel, but Harrison Smith creeps up, rips around the edge, and gets the sack on second down. And they send 6 there on second down because I think it was first and goal from the 9 initially. So they're in passing downs. On the third one, they show a really, really light box. They only have 3 up there. Everybody's back. They got everybody on the roof, and Panthers call a timeout. They're like, okay, well, now I don't know what's going on. Call a timeout, adjust to that, come back out, and it's the 7-0 pressure look again. Completely different thing than they saw before they took that timeout. And you see they forced the throwaway on that one. And they sent 6 again, but Bryce was running around. Nobody could get separation on the back end. And then the last one, 7-0 again, out of nickel. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the NASCAR front we heard a bunch about from Flores, where he had Daniil, Patrick Jones, DJ Wanham, and Davenport all on the line. Davenport and Patrick Jones rushing from the interior, double mugging the A gap. Harrison Smith on the overhang again.
Football.
But that time they only send 4. They drop 3 of those guys. And Harrison literally just beats Ike Ekwonu off the edge like JJ Watt. Like he just hand fights him. There was a little hesitation when Patrick Jones dropped out, but like that was just Harrison Smith winning a pass rush rep against an offensive tackle on the left. They only sent 4 and he got home and sealed the game. Like the cat and mouse between Flores and Reich was outstanding. Like it was just, yeah, we're seeing a lot of the same looks pre-snap, but they're like disguised pressure looks. It's not the same, like you're not seeing the same exact front. You're not seeing the same exact back end coverage on certain downs. Like it's just a breath of fresh air from that standpoint. The defense gave up 6 points. They were aggressive. They forced turnovers. You talked about the peanut punch from Cam Bynum. I'm sure that's something Flores started to stress. Hey, let's go take the ball if we're going to give it up 11 times in 4 games. But like, and then Harrison Smith, utilizing him. Dave, you and I talked about this all offseason. We're going to have Harrison Smith screaming off the edge. And then 3 games, you saw like a little bit of it. But I think this was kind of the culmination.
You didn't get to anybody though, yeah.
Yeah, like this was it, and I think he feels really confident with his guys, understanding what he wants them to do. And I think you'll see a really confident defense going forward. I think that was a huge, huge confidence boost for them to close out the game like that, I think.
So the contest again, hashtag Skull. Let me put this up. Make sure you put hashtag Skull. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me figure out how would I'm probably gonna disappear from the can you can still hear me, right?
Yeah
we can.
Yeah, so I kept Yogi on the thing. I don't have it set up to, but so I got 7 entries, 5 entries. You got to be purple and gold for days. GG Sports Podcast, Minnesota Sports Talk, and 8 entries. There you go. Keep them coming. Hashtag Skull if you still got it. How about no? How about yes? How about yes? All right, I'm hitting it. All right. Who do we got? Here?
Two-toned Tony.
How about
no at the
late
buzzer.
win? With the late win. Let's get you a Justin Jefferson jersey here. Not yet. You gotta wait till you hit 3,000. And you also will be entered to win the other contest that I'll be doing in increments of 2250, 2500, and 2750. And how do I get myself back? There we go.
And you're entered to win the Yogi special edition calendar.
Oh, that sounds
the one the firemen do.
Tanisha's got that in her dorm room. Do you live in a dorm?
I'm in an apartment now.
Apartment, that's good. But you used to be in the dorms, right?
Yeah.
Tanisha's pre-med, everybody, and she's doing she's jumping on podcasts. She's my longest running guest, I think. Johnny's no longer considered a guest. So Tanisha's still guest status until she goes full YouTube. We've been trying to get her to she was gonna make an announcement and then pulled back.
I just don't have the time to be consistent with it. So
all right. Well, hey guys, all you guys, I want back at some point. Yogi, make sure you're watching your direct messages from now on. Because I was reaching out to you.
Oh man, I know. Yesterday I had to build a fence. Yeah,
yeah, it was. I enjoyed the stages of its construction on the
I
chat.
got bit by a wasp today. Yeah, it's
again.
No, last night one was just in the house. I killed that one, but then today I think they came back for revenge and bit me.
God, those videos of those people pissing off hornets. I'm glued to them. But hey, guys, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being part of this. Damn, I want all you guys back on the show as many times as I can get you until you're tired of me. But I appreciate it. Skull Vikings. Let's beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, let's go.